This is the Wellness Club, where we dive into all things wellness, from nutrition to fitness to productivity and more. We are exploring the science to help you feel your best inside and out. I'm your host, Cass Camp, and I am so happy that you're here. Welcome to the club. Hi, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Cass. Thank you so much for listening. For this week's episode, I feel like I just owe you guys like a chatty life update type of episode. This is the type of stuff that I'm telling my friends on FaceTime and in the group chat. And I feel like I owe it to you guys too, because so much has been happening in my life, honestly, like just in the last 2 weeks, that I haven't shared on the podcast yet. Before I get into the more meaningful, like deeper life updates, there is something that I just have to tell you guys that I kind of set up on the podcast. So as you guys know, if you listen to the Summer Ins and Out episode, I talked about Facebook Marketplace. And Facebook Marketplace and just Facebook in general is literally the best form of social media. I don't know how Facebook has gotten such a bad rep and it's like old. Maybe I'm just getting older, but I absolutely love Facebook. I'm actually obsessed with it. Like, I have not been scrolling on Instagram. I never open TikTok, but that's always been a thing. If you've been listening for a while, you know that. But Facebook is so cool. First of all, it understands me better than I think any other social media, because it shows me videos that I actually want to see that are actually positive. They're not like fear mongering or like negativity or like the news. Like, I don't want to watch that stuff on my social media. I want to watch cake decorating. I want to watch families playing games together. I want to watch happy, lighthearted, positive stuff. Another reason that I like Facebook is because of the Facebook groups. I'm recently getting into Facebook groups, and there are Facebook groups for every single interest that you might have. There's groups for teachers. There's groups for social hangouts. There's groups for pickleball. Any type of interest that you have, there are multiple Facebook groups on it, and you can connect with people that are pretty similar to you. I think it's cool. And then there's also events on Facebook, which I actually want to get into. Like, I want to start hosting events this summer. If you're local, you'll definitely be seeing it and you should definitely come. But there are so many events on Facebook alone that are free or affordable, or you buy tickets, whatever it is, whatever you're looking for, it's on Facebook. There's social hangouts, there's women's clubs, there's book clubs, there's workouts. Like, there's so many things on Facebook. Facebook is so underrated, I think. Like, it really is. And one of my favorite parts about Facebook that we already talked about is Facebook Marketplace. If you listen to the Summer Ins and Outs, you heard me go off on this, but Facebook Marketplace is where it's at. You can get such nice stuff on Facebook Marketplace so affordably, especially big things that like are just expensive for no reason, like mirrors, furniture, all kinds of stuff. I have been in my Facebook Marketplace era. Like, if there's something that I need to buy, I'm checking Facebook Marketplace first before I even go to the stores, go on Amazon, go on anything. I'm checking first if it's on there before I buy it. And recently, I've been in the market for a mirror, and mirrors full price, brand new, are honestly so expensive. Like, they just are. They're like hundreds of dollars for no reason. So I've been kind of just waiting it out and seeing if I can find one either thrifted or Facebook Marketplace. And I've been scrolling, I've been looking. And the other day, this perfect mirror pops up on Facebook Marketplace pretty close to where I live. And it looks nice. It has this nice like white wood border. It looks sturdy. Like, it's not just a thin, flimsy mirror. And he put it up for $15. $15. That is so cheap for this thick, sturdy, high quality mirror, right? No cracks, no dents, no scratches. Perfect mirror. $15. So I message him. And on Facebook Marketplace, you know, it automatically puts, hey, is this still available? Which, pro tip, if you want to get somebody's attention on there, erase that, because sellers do not like that message. I feel like a lot of people put in their little bio, like, do not ask me if it's still available. Yes, it's still available. So I erase it and I say, would you do $10? Which, that's a really big deal for me, because that is not my personality at all. Like, I am not good at negotiating. I am not good at like going back and forth or like heckling or anything like that, which is a good thing sometimes, but it's not a good thing when it's stuff like this because most people are putting stuff up expecting you to negotiate a little bit. And also, it's a good thing to be able to negotiate. And I'm not good at it at all. It makes me very uncomfortable. So I was like, you know what? This is my time. I'm going to negotiate because I've never done it on Facebook before. Everything that I've bought, I've paid full price, always, no questions asked. And this time I'm like, wait, I'm just going to ask. He messages back immediately and he says, absolutely. When can you meet? So I'm like, I'll pick it up after work. So he sends me his address and he's like, I'm going to have it outside. Just put the money in the jar. To me, that's a perfect scenario because I don't really want to interact with someone if I don't have to when it comes to stuff like this. And normally I always bring somebody with me. Usually my boyfriend will go with me or a friend or somebody. And when it comes to Facebook Marketplace, you definitely have to be like observant and wary and vigilant and all those things, just like anywhere nowadays. But it's also important to do things independently. And I checked out this whole guy's profile. He sells a bunch of stuff. He has a family, and of course people can catfish you, but it looked legit. He wasn't being weird on chat. Nothing weird was happening. No red flags. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go. I went in broad daylight. It was on a Tuesday. It was fine. So I'm all excited. I have my $10 in cash. I have the address in my phone and I'm driving and I'm on the phone with my friend while I'm going there. Cause it was like a 25-minute drive, 30-minute drive. It was a little bit of a hike, but it was like an activity. So I was excited to go. So I drive there. I'm on the phone with my friend and she's like, stay on the phone just in case. People have my location. Like I felt totally fine. And she was like, I'm just going to stay on the phone with you just to make sure everything's good, which I appreciate. Up until this point, the guy's instructions for me were it's going to be outside, leaning on my truck, put the money in the jar. And at this point, I had already completely stalked his Facebook profile. He buys and sells stuff all the time. He has a ton of listings. He's sold a bunch of stuff. He has great reviews. Like he must do this either as a full-time business or at least a side business because he is buying and selling a lot of stuff. So when I pull into the driveway, I see a ton of stuff, like a shed filled with stuff, a garage open filled with stuff, like all this stuff just out in the yard. Furniture, mirrors, like all kinds of stuff. There was a horse in the backyard. Like there was so much stuff. So I'm looking around and I see all this stuff and I'm like, this makes sense because he buys and sells a lot of stuff. Like this is probably stuff he's trying to sell and trying to fix and flip or whatever. But I don't see the mirror that he had a picture of. So I'm like looking around, I don't see anything. And I'm like waiting and I was on the phone with my friend. So I was going to message him and just wait. And I'm just waiting in the driveway. Nobody's coming out. I was probably waiting there for like 5 to 10 minutes, just in the driveway, looking around, can't find it. So when I get back in my car and I'm sitting there and I'm contemplating like, should I message him? But I'm like, no, the mirror should be here. He said it was by the truck. And I'm looking around the truck. There's no mirror, but there's a ton of other stuff. So then I'm like, maybe I got here sooner than he thought. And maybe he just didn't put it outside yet. So that's why I was kind of like lingering around and waiting. Get back in my car and I'm like about to message him. And as I'm in my car on my phone, I see the maps. I was at the wrong house for like a while. Okay. So I back out of that driveway so fast. I'm so embarrassed. I'm lucky someone didn't come out there with a shotgun, right? I back out so fast. Turns out it was the house next door, which I couldn't see because it's covered by trees. So I pull into the house next door. Now I'm all flustered. I'm embarrassed. I'm feeling awkward. I pull into the driveway. What's right next to that truck? A mirror with a jar, just like he said. So I'm trying to get out of here quick as possible because now I'm so embarrassed, right? So I pick up this mirror, which it's a pretty big mirror. I put the money in the jar, pick up the mirror, looks good. And as I'm putting it into my car, I lift it up and I slam the mirror into my own chin. And it hurt so bad. But I just was like, I need to get out of here. So I just took it to the chin, literally, put it into my car, slammed the door, got in my car, put in directions to go home, and backed out of that driveway so fast. I was absolutely mortified. My face was so red. My friend on the phone heard the whole thing happen. I'm like, oh my God, I'm at the wrong house. Oh my God, I just hit myself in the chin. I'm cracking up. And she's like, I can't believe you got it by yourself. And I'm like, honestly, like that's so embarrassing. Maybe I won't do that anymore. But then I got home and I took my mirror out and I put it in my room and I absolutely love it. It's so cute and it was worth it. But oh my God, when I tell you, I was so mortified being in the wrong house. And I was just thinking like people were probably in the window. Like, who is this person in our driveway? Because there were so many cars at this house that I was just waiting at. There was the horse, there was everything. Oh my God. So yeah, I guess just a word of advice. If you're having a Facebook Marketplace summer, make sure you're at the right house. Another update that I want to share is as you're listening to this on Monday, it's my last day of work, which you guys know I'm a teacher. So having summers off is definitely one of the biggest perks of the job. I feel like I tell everyone, become a teacher because having summers and breaks and holidays is such a luxury that I think we take for granted. So I know I'm excited. I have so many fun summer plans that I'm looking forward to. I have some really exciting trips coming up, which if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me at Cass Camp if you want to keep up to date with all my travels. And something that I'm the most excited for is the Wellness Club retreat. This is happening in July. It's the end of July, July 25th to the 27th. We're going to the Poconos and it is going to be such a fun weekend. I cannot wait. I have been doing so much planning and creating and preparing and purchasing. Like I've been doing so much stuff in preparation for this retreat. I am so excited. I don't want to tell you guys on the podcast because I know some of you are actually going. So I don't want to tell you guys any of the surprises yet, but just know that every single detail is being thought about. Like I just love event planning. I love hosting. And so to host my own retreat is just my dream because I love planning out the little details. Every single thing has been thought about. And that was my whole goal with doing this is I wanted to do something and do it up. Like it's not just a hangout for a weekend. It truly is an all-inclusive, all-immersive experience with every single detail thought about. Like I can't stress it enough. Me and my mom have been talking about it every single day with new things we can add and things to figure out and things that we can make and plan and buy so that it really is such a luxury experience. That's exactly what I want it to be. And I have no doubt that it's going to be. I'm so excited. Like you have no idea. Every day I just wake up thinking about it and what I can do today to prepare for it. And it's truly my favorite thing to do. Like preparing for it, making stuff for it. I'm loving it. I can't wait until we go. If you're interested in coming or you have a friend that's interested in coming, I have 2 spots left and the spots are going to go quick because people have been talking to me about it, but they're still technically open. So if you're really interested, either message me on Instagram or just fill out the form on my website, casscamp.co and save your spot because these spots are going to go and we are at max capacity after these 2 spots. I am so excited and the women that are going just are awesome. It's going to be such a great group. I'm so excited. I can't get over it. Like I want to do this all the time. And honestly, like that would be a dream of mine. I'm just going to speak it into existence. Doing retreats and events is truly like my future goals. Like I want to have community building. I want to have connection. I want to have events like this where women can get together, connect, talk about wellness, talk about things that they're interested in, and really do things that are positive for their lives. Like that is my whole mentality and my whole goal and my whole purpose. This is just one step in the right direction, but this truly is something that I want to keep doing. And since we're all friends here, I've also been thinking a lot about hosting like mini retreats or like daytime events where women can get together and do this on a smaller scale, where we go to the beach or we go to a cute venue and everything is so cute and aesthetic and fun and purposeful and intentional. And women can come and meet each other and either do a workout or have like nutritious food or both. Almost like a social club. Like if you've seen other women do this too, especially in big cities, the social club events are so popular. A lot of them I feel like are around bars or like centered around wineries and stuff like that, which is fine. But I want to do something more wellness oriented. So that's kind of my vision. And I really want to make it happen. Like it just truly lights me up inside. I live in a smaller city though, like a smaller town. So I feel like that's something that holds me back mentally. But honestly, I just got to remember there are plenty of people here that need stuff like that. And we don't have anything like that where I live. And I think that if we did, people would come. So I have to start figuring it out, like the logistics. But that definitely is something that's in my mindset and something that I really want to do because I want to go to stuff like that, you know? And since we don't have that here, I got to create it. So that's what's been in my mind. If you have any ideas or any advice or stuff that's going on in your city, please DM me. I would love to talk about this because it's something that I want to figure out desperately, especially this summer. So let me know. And then the biggest update of all that I am so happy about, drum roll please, I am finally cleared from PT from my ACL. I had ACL surgery over a year ago, like a year and 4 months ago, maybe. I had it last March. And let me tell you, I have had the longest recovery. And I've talked about it on the podcast a little bit, but honestly, I haven't gotten into the details because it's kind of a sore subject for me. It has been such a long recovery. I haven't been able to do any kind of sports, anything that I really like. And before all of this happening, I was such an active person and I still am active. Like I teach dance full time. I work out, I exercise, like I do a lot of things. But truly, this surgery has held me back for the last year and 3 months or 4 months. And it's just been tough. And it's been tough in every aspect of the injury. If you've been through surgery or an injury, you probably understand mentally is a huge part. And mentally, I was expecting because everyone says it's not really the physical, it's the mental. And I totally see that because I did have the mental struggles. But even physically, I struggled, which I wasn't really expecting, especially being young and active and fit before all of this. Everyone told me it would be like a piece of cake kind of, and it's really just the mental strain, which I totally saw, like I said. But physically, I experienced some setbacks and some pain that really held me back from getting cleared sooner. There are things that happened during my recovery journey that have definitely attributed to why it took so long. I made a podcast episode, I don't know, probably like 8 months ago. I think it was last summer. And it was towards the beginning of my recovery. And it was right when I made this shift to switch physical therapy. At the time in that episode, I kept it very PG and politically correct. And I kept it very, respectful. And that's good. I'm glad I did that. But at that time, I also didn't understand the gravity of the situation and where I was at. And now looking back, I can definitely see that. So I want to tell you guys how it went. And I want to add in the more honest details now that it's all said and done. Truly, this is something that I think affects a lot of people, but people don't know. Like personally, I didn't know what to look for in physical therapy. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing because I've never been through this before. And now that I have, if I could just help one person avoid some of the mistakes and struggles that I went through, I would be really happy with that because truly this stuff matters. So if you're unfamiliar and now with the more honest details, I tore my ACL last February. I tore it skiing. I have a whole episode about the story. It's pretty funny. Then I had surgery at the end of March and I went to a top surgeon. She specializes in athletes, mainly high school, which even though I'm not a high school athlete anymore, I'm still young and very active. And I wanted to go somewhere that could treat me as such. And my surgeon is so awesome. She's a top surgeon in the nation. She runs marathons herself. Like she's very active. So she totally understood where I was coming from. And like, I don't want to just get back to, a normal activity level. I want to get back to the activity level that I was at prior to injury. And she was totally about that. But I did drive a little bit to go to her because for me, I'd rather drive further and go to someone better than stick around and see somebody that might not be as qualified or skilled. And so after my surgery, everything went great, super awesome, no complications, whatever. The biggest thing was getting into physical therapy quickly because ACL is no joke. You need to get into physical therapy. You got to start bending your knee. If not, it locks up. You need the second surgery. It's this whole thing, right? So because I drove further, she didn't really know any physical therapy spots near where I live. And she said the biggest thing is making sure it's convenient because you have to go. So if it's somewhere convenient to you, you'll be more likely to go, which I totally understand. Like the gym is the same way. If you go to a gym nearby, you're more likely to go. So she recommended me to this place that was near me that she's heard about. And so I go there. And one thing about me that's going to be an entire theme of this whole journey is that when you give me something to do, I do it. So if you give me the stretches at home, I'm doing them. If I make an appointment with you, I'm not canceling. Like I will do what you give me to do. So I go to this place and I do literally every single thing they say. I'm going twice a week. Every single time I'm doing my home exercises, I'm doing the stuff they're giving me. I'm giving it my all. And also throughout this whole time, I'm trusting my physical therapist. I think especially being a personal trainer, I understand that it's so frustrating having a patient or a client that's not following what you're doing. So for me, like I want to be a good client. I'm going to follow every single thing you're doing and trust that you're the professional because I know I'm not a physical therapist, but I'm still like reading things online. I'm following videos. I'm reading Reddit. I'm seeing other people's experiences because I want to educate myself about the surgery that I had and the recovery and what I can expect. But I was still trusting every single thing that they gave me. I was doing the stretches, I was doing the exercises, but over time, around like 3 or 4 months in, something in my gut just kept telling me like something's not right. Like you're not progressing or like you're not reaching where you're supposed to be. But I'm also saying to myself, like, what do I know? Like if they're saying this is where I'm at, this is where I'm at. And the whole time the expectations were put in front of me that, you know, this is a year recovery. So 3 or 4 months in, I can understand that I'm not going to be back to my normal stuff. So I just kept trusting and trusting. But like I said, in the back of my head, I was kind of like gaslighting myself to stay and to just trust and kind of follow blindly, even though I wasn't seeing distinct results. And so I kind of started asking more questions and advocating for myself in there and like trying to see like, should I be doing this? I read that I should be doing this. What are your thoughts on this? And the stuff that they would say didn't really match the stuff that I was reading and the studies that I was reading. And because like I can read medical studies, like I can read actual tests and real things. Like I'm not just following TikToks, I'm actually reading research-backed stuff. So for them to say things that didn't match, it was just rubbing me the wrong way. And what really pushed me over the edge is there was one time that I was there that we were working on like range of motion, right? So bending my leg fully. And at this point, I still wasn't able to like sit on my heels, which is something that I could do no problem. My other leg is super flexible. My knees are flexible. Like everything in my body is more hypermobile than the average person. And so when I asked them, like, how do I get back to this range of motion? They said, oh, you don't need that. Like the average person can't do anywhere near that. You don't need that. And one of them even made a joke and was like, I haven't been able to do that since I was like 13 anyway. Like you're fine. And I was like, what? Like I was shocked. I was shocked hearing that because as someone that has worked in wellness, I understand that being able to move your body the best way and the most is the best thing for you. Like just because it's not the average or the standard, if you're able to surpass that, why would you want to stop that? You know what I mean? In the moment, I did not stand up for myself the way that I wish I had. But honestly, it's because I was kind of blindsided because everybody in there was sticking together and kind of agreeing that it was crazy that I wanted to be able to move my body fully or the way that it was before. And so when there's 3 or 4 PTs against you as a patient and you don't really know anything as a PT, because I'm not a PT, I kind of just felt completely like blindsided and ganged up on. So I didn't really stick up for myself. And I'm pretty sure that this was my last appointment in there anyway. So I kind of just said, no, I teach dance. I do yoga. I want to be able to get back to doing this. And I think they just said something like, it's not really functionally beneficial to be able to do it. Like there's no extra purpose. So it's not something that we're going to help you with. And the person that said this wasn't my actual physical therapist. It was someone else that worked there as a physical therapist. But it still just rubbed me the wrong way. Like if this is your whole mentality here, this is not the place for me. And there were other instances of that as well, just throughout my time there. But that specific moment was what made me realize like, maybe not every physical therapist is created equally because this is not okay. And let me be very clear here too. At this point, 3 or 4 months in, I was still having significant trouble with daily activities, like going up and down the stairs, even just sitting down and standing back up. I was having trouble doing that at a normal pace, which is not normal for recovery. At 3 or 4 months, you should be able to do these things relatively well. So the fact that I was still struggling with these daily things, and they were saying that I didn't need to work on stuff. Like it wasn't just that I wanted to be flexible. I actually needed to be more mobile and I wasn't getting there either. And the whole time they kind of just dismissed it of, oh, you're young, you're fit, like you'll be fine. And I have a real problem with this, not just for me, but also because of the other people in there. Most of the people in this office that were patients were elderly people. They were having total hip replacements, total knee replacements. And what makes me so sad is if they're treating me like that, who is young, agile, fit before, I can't imagine the low expectations that they have for these elderly patients, which as a trainer, I've seen firsthand that just because someone is older does not mean that they're incapable. And if you start giving them stretches and exercises, they can get back to a better strength. You know what I mean? And so the fact that they're saying that to me, I can't imagine the incompetence or the negligence that they give to elderly people. So then it just really started to tick me off because once I saw it once, I couldn't unsee it. And I started to see it with the other patients. I started to see it with the comments they made to me. And it just really started to rub me the wrong way. So I went back to my surgeon as a follow-up and I just kind of expressed my concerns because even she saw that I wasn't hitting the milestones that I was supposed to hit. Like the biggest thing for my ACL recovery is I had my quad tendon taken out and used for my ACL. So I lost a ton of quad muscle. And in PT, in the early stages, the biggest thing that you focus on is maintaining your quad muscle. And I lost it all. Like you could visibly look at my leg and you could see that it was so skinny because I just lost all this muscle. And I was having a really hard time, even at 3-4 months in, of engaging my quad muscle, which usually by that point you're supposed to be able to do like at least basic quad stuff. And we just weren't doing that. And those PTs there even said that I'm pretty much fine 3 or 4 months in when I knew that I wasn't able to do anywhere close to what I did before. Like I had trouble going up and down the stairs. I had trouble just lifting my leg up on its own. Like I had real trouble of living like day-to-day activities, not even mentioning any sports related activity, actual day-to-day activities I couldn't do. And they said like I was pretty much fine. Also, you guys know in the United States, everything is based on insurance for healthcare. And luckily, I'm still on my mom's insurance until I'm 26. Woo woo. And thankfully, she has fantastic insurance. But I still didn't know the ins and outs of it. Like, I didn't know how much PT was covered because, you know, I'd never been through something like this before. And so while I was there, they said something like, you only have 18 sessions total or something, and you're reaching the end. And this was around the 3-month mark. And so I'm like, oh, so what am I supposed to do? And instead of saying, you'll need to keep training, you'll need to keep doing X, Y, and Z, you're nowhere near where, they said, oh, you're probably fine. At 3 months, which knowing what I know now, I was nowhere near fine. I still had a limp at this point. And I said to my mom, I told her that because I thought that was kind of weird. And she's like, we don't have a limit on PT. As long as you pay your copays, you don't have a limit. So I tell them that and they were like, no, I don't know. Like they just didn't know anything. And then they check and then they see that my insurance does keep paying. And the whole thing was just weird. Because don't you think as a provider, you kind of owe it to your patient to like make sure that they're okay? Like my risk of re-tear at this point was so high. So how could you live with yourself like as a provider and just be like, yeah, you're fine, knowing that they're not? Or maybe they just didn't know that I wasn't, but I just can't wrap my head around that. So even though it was uncomfortable, I expressed this all to my surgeon and I even told her, I don't mind driving somewhere else. I want to go somewhere good, even if it's far. So I end up switching to a place that mainly sees high school and college athletes. And let me tell you, what a night and day difference, even on the very first day. But when I was first thinking of switching, like I honestly felt a little uncomfortable because I felt like my old PT was going to be mad or like feel some kind of way, which looking back, like that's a ridiculous thought to have. But in my head, I was like, they're going to call me, like they're going to feel so bad. They're going to ask me questions and I'm going to have to tell them that I don't like it there, right? I was so worried that I was going to have to say that. And you know, I canceled one appointment and I never went back and they never called me, which I guess they're just in it for business, but come on, like I was nowhere near cleared. And imagine I just never showed back up and never did any PT. I would be so behind in day-to-day activities. It's insane. So the fact that they never called, never emailed, never followed up is actually crazy and just goes to show that they do not care about their patient's actual health. They're just there to collect the insurance. And let me be very clear again. At this point, I had never said anything negative at all there. Like I was so nice. I was such a good patient. I did everything they said. I trusted 100%. I was not being like a Karen or anything like that at all. So I actually can't imagine how they would treat a patient that was, because I didn't do that at all. I like genuinely was such a people pleaser and listening and doing everything they said. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to have that conversation. I just ended up switching. And I will never forget my first day at this new PT office. When I got there, my PT did some strength tests. First of all, my old PT never did any strength tests, so there was no objective numbers. It was just like, oh, you look healthy, you look fit, you're good. But this place actually tests you based on data and actually based on strength. So he does like an original baseline kind of test. And mind you, I'm like 3 or 4 months of PT. So I should be at a certain number at this point. And I was literally at the numbers as if I just had surgery. And he was like, you are so behind. And I will never forget, because I literally cried my eyes out on the way home. I was so upset because I was thinking like, I have literally done every single thing my physical therapy office has given me. I've done every exercise. I've showed up to every single appointment. I've given all my effort, and it's like I did absolutely nothing. I was truly so heartbroken and honestly embarrassed, because to me, I pride myself on my activity and like exercise and fitness. So the fact that I wasn't able to reach these numbers just really made me sad. But I did everything that I was supposed to do. You know, it wasn't like I was canceling. It wasn't like I was half-assing it. Like I was giving my full effort and I was at these numbers. So I cried my whole way home and I was so upset. But I had to kind of change my mindset around and remind myself that I am dedicated, I am disciplined, and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And it's better that this happened now than later. And so now I'm at a place that actually cares and actually wants to help me and is going to push me. And that's exactly what we did. My new PT, he has pushed me in ways that I never thought was capable. Like, we have done so many things that challenged me in every single way, physically, mentally. And he was very honest with me that this is going to be a hard process. Like, he did not sugarcoat it. He did not baby me. He was honest that I'm really behind and I'm going to have to put a lot of work in, which I appreciate, because I feel like there are a lot of people now that just kind of appease others and people please. And he's never done that once for me, like almost to a fault, because there are times where I'm like, I just want to be done this, but I wasn't there yet. And he was honest with me, like, you're not there. And you could leave here and you could never come back, but you're not going to live the life that you lived before this. So you might as well put the work in. So over the next few months after switching, it was a hard process. Like, I felt like I was playing catch up, and it was so tough because this place that I was at had a lot of athletes and really active people, which was cool to see. But there were people in there that just got out of surgery that were further along than I was 4 months after surgery, 5 months after surgery. And there were people getting cleared before I was, and they had surgery way after me. And so that was kind of hard because I'm comparing myself and I'm feeling like I'm a failure and I'm not doing things right. But I just had to remind myself, like, this is my journey and this is what I have to do. And I genuinely want to heal and be strong enough. Like, I don't want to just pass a test for them to say that I'm fine. Like, I actually want to be fine. I actually want to be able to do the things I did before and more. So to me, it's like, if I have to keep coming here longer, it's only going to make me stronger. Switching PT was a night and day difference. And throughout the months that I spent there, I felt like I really, bonded with everyone there because I spent so much time there. Like, we would make jokes that I should be on the payroll because I have just been there through so much. And now my PT is going to have a baby in a month. And like, there's all these big things that happened while we were there. And it was just nice. Like, I'm actually going to miss going. And there were so many moments where I was like, I just want to give up. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be cleared. I want to get back to my normal activity. But my PT never gave up on me, which is something that I really appreciate and needed, because there was a point that I just completely gave up on myself. I wanted to be done. And I reached a point of like actually physical pain because I was just doing too much. And at first we couldn't really figure out why, because I was doing PT, I was doing my exercises, I was doing the gym on my own. But what we forgot to really take into account is that I'm also so physically active during the day at work, which is not something that most people in there are doing. Like, when I work 7 hours, I'm moving 6.5 of them. To work all day and then go to the gym and then do PT at a 10 out of 10 RPE, it was just too much on my body and I wasn't recovering. So I started to get some pain that made my numbers and those tests like even worse than they were before. Like, I was not passing things. It looked like I had this huge regression. That really broke me because I'm like, I am doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm doing the workouts, I'm moving, I'm stretching, I'm doing everything. Why am I regressing? And it turned out that I just wasn't recovering properly because of everything else I was doing. So as soon as we lowered the intensity and lowered the amount of volume on my body, overnight, everything skyrocketed back. And I didn't actually lose any muscle. I just wasn't able to use it because I was so fatigued. That really made a big difference. And then we got back into jumping. We got back into all these things. Literally 3 days ago, I got fully cleared. And I am so happy because it truly has been such a long journey. And I didn't even know going into it that it was going to be my last session. And I'm really sad about it. But I'm also proud. Like I just started tearing up in the way home because it has been such a long journey. And it's like, especially switching PT and then the mental stuff and then having this physical pain and like all these different things. It really has been such a long journey. And I talked to my friends about it and they're like, you're still doing that? And so to be done it finally is so... like it's just such a good feeling, but it's also bittersweet because I'm going to miss them. But it also happened just in time for summer and I feel really excited and happy and proud. And I wouldn't have had it any other way because I feel like it really helped me grow. And that sounds super cheesy, but yeah. And I guess just my overall point in sharing all of this is if you are in PT or you need surgery or anything like that, ask those medical providers the hard-hitting questions. Do not just trust at the surface that they have a degree because they are not all equal. They're not. And it's unfortunate because you want to trust medical professionals, but at the same time, there are some that are truly just in it for money and in it for like a paycheck, and you can tell. But if you don't know any better, you might not be able to tell. And that's what happened with me. Like I was trusting that first person. When looking back, there's nothing wrong with trying out different people. And who knows, maybe I just wasn't aligned with them and they weren't aligned with my goals. But the point is that you're allowed to switch around and go to different people. And I wish that was something I knew sooner because I didn't know that you could do that. Like I thought once you're with someone, you stick it out, you trust. And if things are going wrong, it's kind of on you. But that's not always the case. And I hope none of you ever have to go through something like this. But the reality is people do. And I just want you to be like an advocate for yourself. Like you need to advocate for yourself because no one else is going to. And just because someone has a degree and a frame on a wall does not mean that they are qualified to help you. I don't know. Listening to myself say this, I kind of sound a little bit bitter. But honestly, like I wasted a lot of time and money at that original place. And it really set me back for a long time. Like it really did. And that's kind of scary. To me, that's kind of like medical malpractice. Like if you're not actually helping people heal, how do you have a license? How do you have a business? And it truly makes me sad for like the older people that go there that think they're getting help that are actually just getting dismissed or like not actually helped because they think that they're older. You know what I mean? Like that makes me really mad. That frustrates me. But anyway, long story short, I am finally cleared and I am so happy about it. And it's just in time for summer, which you girls already know. It's sporty girl summer. So all the sports are coming out. And so now I'm actually cleared to do all these sports. Like I could play golf, but I couldn't play pickleball. I couldn't play tennis. I couldn't do any of that. And so I'm playing all the sports. And literally the day after I got cleared, I played a kickball game at my school and I was sprinting. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was so sore after. And it felt so good to just be able to do things that I know that I'll actually be safe doing. Thank you for listening to this long-winded story about my recovery, but it is a huge part of my life now. So I wanted to cue you guys in because I haven't talked about it in a while. And yeah, if you're interested in the Wellness Club retreat, you need to come. 2 spots left. DM me on Instagram at the Wellness Club XO or visit my website, casscamp.co. And I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.